Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, January 9th, and this is our second Jump into January call. So, welcome. How's everybody's year going so far? I've muted everybody, and then I asked you a question. Good, I hope. I know I've heard from a few of you. We've had a few $1,000 parties happening already, lots of hosts getting double free, which is super exciting. And before we get into today's topic, is it me? Does this ever happen to anybody but me? The dentist's office called me. They're like, hey, Karen, it's January. You need to get your teeth cleaned. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to call them. And then I found this teacup on my desk. And I don't even know how old the tea bag was, but it was like sticking to the cup. And I'm like, this is gross. On my way to the kitchen to get this phone, I will take of my teacup, and I took care of my teacup, and then I went to put it in the dishwasher, and the dishwasher was full, so I had to empty the dishwasher and then put the teacup in the dishwasher, and then I forgot to call the dentist. So then they call me back a couple days later, 2 days later, I think. They leave another message, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, I have got to call the dentist right now. But of course, my phone wasn't on the handset, so I had to like go hunting around for it. And in the meantime, I found these socks that I went to put away, and that made me found my daughter's American Girl doll from like a million years ago. So I had to like reminisce over American Girl doll, so I forgot to call the dentist back.
If you guys think she's making this up,
No, totally not me.
this is really her day.
And then the third time they called me back, they said, Karen, it's Sue at the dentist's office. Do not make me come to your house. All right, show of hands. How many of you can relate to that story? Yeah, okay. Oh, lots of you. See, I'm not alone. See, Michelle, it's not just me. Okay, so actually I'm going to start my screen share. All right, so welcome to week 2 of Jumpstart Your January. And some of you remember what the topic's going to be? Follow-up. This is definitely something that, it comes up over, repeatedly over time. Pampered Chef gives us great training on, when are good times to follow up with our customers, like the day after the party or 2 days, maybe 2 weeks later when they have their products, a couple months later to make sure they're still enjoying their products and seeing if they need anything else. They give us words to say when we're reaching out of the blue and stuff like that. But one thing they don't really cover is, well, what about when you're following up with people and you don't hear back, right? Anybody struggle with that? Like, how often should I call back? Should I call back like the next day? Should I wait a week? I don't know. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And yes, I'm going to be sharing some of my personal experiences, but this is meant to be a group discussion because guess what? There's no one right or wrong answer to this. All right, so we're going to be kind of brainstorming it together. But before we get to that, I want to share some statistics that you might find surprising. I looked them up before the call. Here it is. I couldn't believe this. I almost fell off my seat when I Googled for some information, and it says 48% of us, almost half of us, never even follow up with a prospect. So we meet somebody out and about and they want information, or we meet somebody at a show and they want to have a party, but they don't have their calendar with them, and can we follow up with them and stuff like that. They say that 48% of us never follow up. I am guessing that's more a matter of lack of organization and lack of intention than anything else. So that's something to consider. 25% of us follow up a second, 1 or 2 times and then stop. 12% of us reach out 3 times and then stop. Only 10% of us reach out more than 3 times. Okay, so I want you to just think about where you fall into those statistics and then consider the rest of these statistics. Only 2% of the sales, and for us, the sales can be the booking or whatever the person is looking for. 2% are made on the first contact. Okay, only 2%. 3% are made on the second contact. 5% are made on the third contact. 10% are made on the fourth contact. Well, the bulk, 80%, are made on the fifth or more contacts. Does that surprise anybody? Yeah, Lauren's shaking her head no. It's true, and it absolutely, I feel it's absolutely true in my business for sure. And these are the people who are saying, yes, please call me, right? So the first thing I want to do is kind of share with you some things that I have found that has increased my odds of connecting with what I call a hot lead. Those are people who say, call me, I want you to call me. All right. Sometimes maybe this is someone that you met in October or November and they said, yes, I definitely want to have a party. Call me in the new year. Okay. So these are people who say, yes, I definitely want you to reach out to me. The first thing I do is I try to get as much information as I can when I'm with the person. If they say, I can't have a party right now, I usually joke and say, well, either can I. I mean, I'm right in the middle of this one. My host would be really mad if I just like packed up and left. But then I say, so do you know what month you might want? And then I ask them, do you know what day of the week? Do you want a weekend or a weekday? You know, and then I'll maybe say to them, can I give you some availability I have in that time frame so you can go and check your schedule? Okay, so that's if, you know, if they're a lead and they want to have a party sort of like pretty soon. If they want to book the month I'm booking and I want to make sure the host gets contact. But even if they're saying call me in March, I'll say, okay, you want March, what day of the week is likely going to work for you in March? Or you can say to them, I do Tuesdays and Thursdays, which do you prefer? Things like that. So just kind of trying to narrow it down. And then, you know, ask, what is the best time for me to reach you? Weekends, weekdays, and what's the best way? Do you want me to text you? Do you want me to phone you? Do you want me to message you through Facebook? And then schedule the follow-up. The other thing that I find is really helpful is I'll tell them, add me into your cell phone as a contact. So when I call them or whatever, it's not seen as unknown name or unknown number. They know it's, oh, that's Karen Batty, the Pampered Chef lady. Another thing I do, if someone says, you know, call me back when you're booking March, I might reach out. If they had said, give me a call, I might text them the night before to say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. You said to contact you when I was booking March because I just, you know, our new products are coming out then. I'm looking forward to touching base with you tomorrow around blah, blah time. You know, look forward to talking with you then. So I'll kind of send out something a little bit ahead of time to remind them, oh yeah, that's right. I asked her to call me. If there is a reason that I want to follow up with this person quickly, like, you know, I'm closing the show in 2 days and I want the host to get booking credit, you know, I'll say to them, is it okay if I follow up with you tomorrow? And the reason why I want to follow up with you so quickly is because I'm closing out Sue's party the next day. And if you happen to schedule a date, even if it's a few months out, Sue is going to get credit for that. I can always call you closer to the time to make sure the date works. If we need to switch it, we can. But at least this way, she's going to get the credit. Now, do you think if I explain it that way, people are going to say, no, don't call me? No, they're like, oh, yeah, that's fine. That's good. I also sometimes will make a joke with someone. Like if I'll say, okay, so when I call you in January, you're going to pick up the phone, right? You're going to avoid my call? And they're like, yeah, no. So if that fits your style, you can go ahead and make up a joke. Okay, so those are my tips. Th are things that I have found have definitely helped for me. I know we've got a lot of people on the call who probably our combined experiences is probably a half a century here. So I want to hear from you guys. What do you, when we're talking about current leads who have said, yes, this is something I want, what do you find has been helpful in sort of increasing the odds that you're going to connect in the first or second time that you reach out? Michelle, are you raising your hand?
Yeah.
Go ahead. What you got?
I try different methods of contact. I find that people tend to not answer the phone these days. So if I call and I don't like to leave a detailed message, I just say, hey, Michelle Weinstein from Pampered Chef, call. I've got some exciting news. Then I will text them. Hey, just left you a voicemail. Everybody reads their text. Everybody reads their text. You always see people on their phone reading their text.
Except for Karen Batty, who never sees them.
Karen Batty. So then I'll text them. And then I might Facebook message them. Okay, in the space of a couple of days. You know, hey, tried to text you. I know you wanted me to get in touch with you. Always bring it back to the fact that they wanted you to touch base with them. So
Right.
Different contact methods. One of them will get results.
And actually, before we get into the details of the multiple ways and types of contacts, is there anything else that people do that increase the odds of those people actually picking up the phone the first time you reach them?
Sometimes offer incentives.
Who said that?
Sherry.
Sherry. So can you give us an example?
I just let them know that when we have their party, if they do a certain amount within a certain time, I'm only offering this for this week, and I'll do something small, like I'll break up a set of the brown sugar keepers, and I'll give them one of them. It's something that gets into baking products that way too. So, but only if they.
A sense of urgency.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. Yep. Yeah. Lynn, did you have your hand up?
Yes, you said what seems to help, and I think scheduling a follow-up always has helped with me. So if I'm talking with someone at a party, at an event, whatever, if I schedule a time that I'm going to actually contact them, and chances are a lot better at them answering the phone because they're going to know. And I make a big window, I usually will make it a very small window. So instead of saying at 4 o'clock, I would say something like between 4:15 and 4:30, because people tend to remember those in-between numbers instead of, the right on the hour. So I usually say, I always do like the quarter past the hour. So I'll say like 1:15 or 4:15 and something like that. And I say, keep in mind, our clocks could be different. So it might not be exactly that. You know what I mean? So they're going to know that my call is coming in. But I find that scheduling of that follow-up has helped me.
Yeah. I love that you give them a window. I give them a window, not because I thought they would remember it, but just because I need margin of error. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. If you give them a window, they're probably more likely to remember it than a hard and fast time. Okay. Anybody else got ideas that help increase the odds of people actually responding the first time we reach out? All right, we're going to go back to the screen share here. Okay, so the next thing is okay, what if you call them and they don't answer? Okay, how long do you wait until you reach out again? How many times? Michelle, you said you reach out multiple times in multiple ways. So Michelle, can you tell us, like when you say multiple times, how many times do you reach out to someone who have said, these are the people who say, yes, I would, I want to have a show in the new year, call me. How many times would you kind of, you say, would you expect to reach out before you actually get them on the phone? Before you even reach out the first time, like what's in your mind going, generally speaking, I will probably hear from these people after how many outreach, would you say?
Well, in my experience, plus I keep track of when I reached out to them. So in my experience, I would say probably 4 or 5 times.
That's the exact number I was going to say. 4 to 5 times is average. And these are the people who have said, yes, call me. How many of you don't reach out that many times? How many of you give up? Yeah, you think, Sue, you raised your hand and I can see you because I can't see everybody because I can only see the top 5 people. If you could unmute for a second. Do you not reach out more than that because you think they've changed their mind, or because you lose track of them, or because you just don't have time? What's behind about not following up quite that many times?
Afraid I'm being a bother, because because I know sometimes if I get phone calls and I don't recognize the number, I like the point of giving them your number to put it as a contact so they know it. This way here, if they know that the call is coming and they recognize the name, they're more apt to pick it up. But if you don't do that, then that's why this is what things I was going to ask Michelle about. So it worked out perfect that you guys are answering my questions.
So Sue, you saying that you feel like if you've reached out a few times now, you feel like you're being a bother. Does anybody else feel that way? Yeah, I can see. All right.
Karen, I don't always feel that way. I'm still reaching out to people from the Pumpkin Festival because they said yes, but after the holidays, and I called during the holidays. And then quite frankly, I got busy. And I was focused on the parties I was having and my hosts and my customers that were right in front of me. So sometimes that's why I don't get past number of contacts. But I have people that I have called. I keep track, like Michelle, I do it on the back of their card or on my notebook. And I have people that I've given up probably after the 4th or 5th time.
Okay, so one thing that Colleen said that I think is really important, and Michelle said too, I keep their survey slips and I keep notes on it. Every time I call, I put the date. I'll put the time of day that I reached out and how. I put LM for left message. I've been doing that since the dawn of time. That's if I left a voice message. I put an E with a circle around it if I emailed them. I put an FB if I messaged them through Facebook. I put a T if I texted them. Okay, and I put the different dates and the different times. For those of you who are like Sue and you're thinking, oh, I think I'm bugging them. I've reached out 3 times now. I want you to think of me and my tea bag and the American Girl doll and the emptying of the dishwasher. Okay, I take people at their word. If they say they want to have a party, if they don't want to have a party, they'll tell you. They're not going to say, yeah, I want to have one, call me. They won't. They really won't. So people get busy, like Colleen was saying. You know, you reach out a couple of times, we get busy, well, they get busy too. So we really do need to. It is average to have to reach out 4 to 5 times. And for the people who said yes, by the 4th or 5th time when I get them on the phone, most of them are still yeses. So remember the statistics that over 80% of the people, by the time we get the sale, and the sale for us is the booking, 80% of those people we're going to have to reach out more than 4 times. But only 10% of us are reaching out more than 4 times. Okay? So take people at their word. All right? Now, the next thing is, how long do you wait in between? What do people do generally?
Well, I actually, can you hear me?
Yes, Belinda, we can.
I actually have a tickler file, so I have it's separated for all the months, January through December, and then I have my 4 weeks of each month. So especially if they say yes, I keep calling them until they tell me no.
But how often?
I will actually, I'll call them, I'll text them, I'll email them. And then if I don't hear back, I put it to the next week. And then the next week I pull out my cards on who to call and I try it again. And I just keep doing that until they tell me no. I mean, I've got some that I've been calling for 6 months. It's just, I just keep going now. I don't feel that I'm bothering them because they said yes to a party.
Yeah.
Until they tell me no, I just keep going.
And if I've had someone say to me, you know, I definitely want to have a party in the new year, give me a call. I won't even wait a week in between calls because it's the new year now and we've got double free and 60% off a quick cooker. So I don't want to wait even a week. So I'll reach out, and then a day or two later, I'll reach out again. A day or two after that, I'll reach out again. I might then go to weekly and monthly. But in the beginning, I'm not waiting a week in between calls because if the dentist office waited a week to call me, it wouldn't get high enough up on my to-do list. If they call me a couple of times in a week, I'm like, oh my gosh, Karen, stop what you're doing and call the darn dentist, you know? So it's when I get that repeated thing that I'm like, oh, right. You know, so
Right.
sometimes it takes that many to sort of hit my radar.
Well, that's especially if they've said they wanted a January show. Yeah, you would call, I'd probably call every day or every other day then, but
Well, but even if they say, I just want to party in the new year, call me after the holidays, because getting in the January deal is such a phenomenal thing, and I don't want them to miss out on it. Even then, I'm going to be calling out probably a few times in a week. That's just me. By the way, when I say call, that's because I'm old. Call for me is code for reach out. Sometimes it's text, sometimes it's Facebook message, sometimes it's actually pick the phone, things like that. For Sue and others, if you feel like you're bothering people, because if I get to that place where I feel like I'm bothering, I will reach out and say something like, hey, I was just reaching out again because I know you said you were interested in having a party in the new year, and we've got this amazing deal going on, and at the off chance you might be able to get in on it this month, I didn't want you to miss out. But hey, if whatever reason you've changed your mind, that's totally fine. If you can just get back in touch with me and let me know, I'll take you off of my callback list. You can call me at this number, you can Facebook message me, or you can email me at. And then I will also follow up with an email that says the same thing. If you've changed your mind, that's totally fine. Just hit reply and say, now's not a good time. If there's a better time you'd like me to reach out, just let me know, and I'm happy to do that. So then you give them permission, and these are people, this is by like the fourth or fifth message. What do you think happens more often than not, in my experience? That's when they call me back and go, no, I want to have a party. I'm sorry, I've just been busy.
I was just
Or I hear nothing. Usually people say, yeah, I changed my mind. They usually say nothing, or they call back like, yeah, don't take me off your callback list. Okay. And then I think I have a slide on the so here's just some tips. I'm not super formal when I'm leaving a message, because a lot of people aren't going to listen to the whole thing. So I don't say, hi, this is Karen Batty with the Pampered Chef, and we met at Lynn's party back in November. I'm like, hey, Lynn, it's Karen Batty with the Pampered Chef. Remember me? I was just calling because you said you were interested in having a party up to the new year. And oh my goodness, girlfriend, you are not going to believe what they're offering. So I'll leave, just informal, and I'll harken back to the fun. And like I said, I don't wait too long before reaching back out. I'll wait a day or two. But I do keep track of the different times of the day and the different ways. When I do leave a voice message or something like that, I do give myself permission to call back. Oh, I'm sorry you missed you, but I know how life can be busy. If you have a chance to call back, I'll be home this evening or tomorrow during the day. But if not, no worries. I'll reach out to you until we connect. So saying no worries, I'll keep reaching out till we connect is like saying, okay, call me back, because otherwise I'm going to keep calling you. But I say it in a really nice way. If somebody has asked me to text them and I want them to hear the excitement in my voice, you know how you can do a little audio clip as long as it's less than 2 minutes? So I'll do that, like, hey, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. You said you want to have a party in the new year. Wait until you hear what Pampered Chef is offering. Hey, if you can just text back and let me know when you get about 2 minutes, I'll be happy to reach back out at that time. If there's someone who says yes and I have not heard back, especially if they picked a tentative date but it's not solid and I haven't heard back, contact the past host. Hey, do you know if everything's okay with Belinda? I was so surprised I haven't heard back from her. She said she was interested and she, picked out a tentative date. I haven't heard back. Do you know if everything's okay? And the past host was like, oh, I'll see you tomorrow at work. I'll make sure she calls you back. And then, like I said, giving people permission to back out. Hey, if you've changed your mind, that's totally fine. Just let me know and I'll take you off my callback list. Otherwise, I'll keep calling till we connect because I know how busy life can be. Now, Michelle, you said you do sort of a layered approach where, like in one day, you might reach out by phone and leave a voice message. But oh, wait a minute, go ahead.
I don't do it all in one day.
Okay, so kind of if you can kind of give tips on, flesh that out a little more about how.
If I call and leave a message, which is rare, then I will text and say, hey, I just left you a message.
Mhm.
But then a couple of days later, I might Facebook message her. I like the Facebook message one because you can see if they've read it or not. So
Mhm.
you know if they got your message as far as that goes. And then I might email a couple of days later. But no, I don't do a 4-layer approach on the same day.
Okay. I sometimes do if I really want to get in touch with somebody. Basically, I put the information all in one place. I'll pick one place where I'm going to put the basic information. Maybe it's an email because it's links and stuff like that. And then I might call them and say, hey, oh, I'm so sorry I'm not able to catch it. But you know what? I'll send you an email. Check it out and let me know what you think. Then I'll send the email. Then I'll also message through Facebook. Hey, just want to let you know I sent you an email. There's some really amazing deals on there. When you have a second, check it out and let me know if it's something you want to consider. So that way, it's one outreach because it's sort of all at one time, but it's many different ways. And this is if they haven't told me the best way to reach them. But most of the ways are just a quick little touch base, and it points to where they're going to find the basic information that I wanted to send to them. I don't do that for days in a row. That's if I just want to do an outreach and I want to make sure they see it. Anybody else got some tips about things that have worked for them? How about if you reach out to someone, you reach out a few times and they say, I'm all set for now. What do you say?
I usually remind them that we get new catalogs every, once in a while, spring catalog, fall catalog, summer catalog, whatever. And I say, well, when the new catalog comes out, I'd love to get in touch with you then, and
Good. Yeah.
that out.
You're asking hey, when would you like me to reach out to you? We've got a new catalog coming out in March. Do you want me to reach out to you then? Or is there a better time you'd like me to reach out? Or is there anything in particular if it goes on 60% off for hosts that you'd like to hear back from me? So before you just throw that lead away, because sometimes it's just now's not a good time, but you never know down the road, just ask. And is there a better time you'd like me to reach out? Or we got a new catalog coming out. Do you want me to reach out then? All right. Let's talk about cold leads. All right. You're following up with some cold leads. They're not even really leads. They may just past hosts. They had a show. It's been a year. That's when I will try that layered approach. Okay, so it's been a while and I want them to know about these January specials. I'm going to pick one way where I'm going to very excitedly and in a small space kind of get that information to them in the most exciting way possible. And then the other ways will refer to that. If you want them to hear the excitement in your voice, it could be a voice message and then you text them to make sure they listen to it. Or if you want to make a little video and send it through Messenger, you could email them and text them or whatever and point to that one spot. When I am calling someone that I haven't called in a while and I'm leaving a quick message or a quick text, I try to pique their curiosity. Did you see the email I sent the other day? When I found out about that incentive, you were like the first one I had to tell. Check it out when you have a second. Let me know what you think. So now they see that and they're like, oh, I wonder what that is. I should go check that out. Again, it's not super formal. It's not long because I want it to fit onto the screen of their telephone so they don't feel like they have to scroll. Because they have to scroll, they're not reading it. So just something that's going to fit onto the screen of their phone. And then maybe they'll say, oh, why don't I go back and listen to that? And again, if they say no, I ask if they'd like me to reach back out. And if so, a couple weeks, couple months, what do you think? I am so shocked at times when someone says not now. And I say, oh, is there a better time that you'd like me to reach out? And they say, yeah, why don't you call me at the end of January? And I'm like, what? Because I always think they're going to say so far down the road. Sometimes it's just a couple of weeks. Okay, here's another statistic. I did not know this. 91% of customers say they would give referrals. Only 11% of us are asking for them. So if you tell somebody, and especially if this is a customer of yours that you've worked with, and you're telling them about the January specials, and they're like, oh gosh, you know, it sounds really good, but it's just not going to work for me right now. How many of you ever say, well, my goodness, if you know anyone who maybe just moved into a new place or just got engaged or whatever, oh my goodness, if you could pass the word, because usually Pampered Chef only offers double free once a year. How many of you were referrals? Raise your hand. Michelle, raise your hand. You're a referral. Yeah, a lot of referrals out there that you don't want to miss out on. Does this surprise anybody, this statistic? I had no idea. I had no idea that 91% of customers who like a product line say they would absolutely give a referral. So definitely keep that in mind. All right. So these are the things that I'm going to challenge you to take action on this week. Go into PC University and go to customer care and peer sharing resources. There's a couple of different recordings that are from National Conference. I think one is 5-Star Customer Care, one is Phone Courage. I can't believe how little I use the phone these days. I mean, for actually calling people. And really, guys, the key to everything is reaching out to enough people. We don't get bummed out about, oh, this one didn't call me back. If we are reaching out to enough people, enough of them will be calling us back. And the magic number seems to be, if you reach out 25 to 25 people, remember, that's just a quick text or a Facebook message, and then you will get enough. Okay, there will probably be at least 10 people reaching back if you reach out to 25. They're not all going to pan out right away, but they'll at least be in communication with you. And we can feel like we're talking to a lot of people. I was talking to a consultant the other day, and she said, oh, you know, I'm not getting any bookings, and, you know, I'm using some of the words you said, and I'm getting excited, and I'm telling what I'm excited about. And then when I asked her how many people she'd reach out to, she said, oh, a ton. And then she actually counted 6. So it can feel like we're reaching out to a lot of people because oftentimes we give so much thought to what we're saying and how we're reaching out. And then if you only reach out to a few, it can be like you're just sitting by the phone waiting for them to text or call or message. So buckshot, reach out to a lot of people. And I challenge you to write it down. Get a fresh new piece of paper, a spiral bound notebook, or in the notes section of your phone. Every time you reach out, put that name on there and see, and make sure it's a minimum of 25 a week and see what happens. Yes, Lynn. You're muted.
I have done a lot of traveling here in the last couple of months, and I will tell you, at the airport is the best time to talk to people. I pull out my catalog, and I'm browsing through my catalog, and people always comment. And if there's 10 people around, at least one person comments on it. So yeah. I always pull out my little book, and I say, oh, here, just give me your information, you know, and, you know, I can send you a link so that you can look at the catalog. I only have this one. But I can send you a link where you can look at the catalog online, and, you know, I can get back in touch with you as far as, you know, what you'd like. And it's funny how I've talked to so many people in an airport, but I still don't find myself, it's probably maybe 5. You know what I mean? Even in that whole trip, you feel like you've talked to so many people, but you're only really talking to like 5, you know?
Right. So that's why it's important when you write it down, it keeps us accountable. Like, okay, well, there's 5 out of the 25, but yeah, you feel like you've talked to so many people, and it's like, yeah, not so many when I think about
Only
it.
because you see so many faces and you're thinking, oh my God, yeah, you know what I mean? But it's true. It's, because I keep that log in my travel bag, I
Good.
can see how many people I've actually really, truly connected with.
And I think it's next week. No, 2 weeks from now, we're going to hear from Laura Polito, who is amazing with Out and About. So be sure to be on that call. I also challenge you to make some New Year's resolution calls, and you can do these all month long. This is a fabulous way that I have found that it's easy for me to reach out. So I basically just go back 1 year, and I pull up a show, and I just start dialing. When I have 10 minutes, I just dial for 10 minutes until I get somebody on the phone. And I might leave a quick message if I don't get them. But if I got a customer on the phone from last January, hi, this is Batty with the Pampered Chef. It is my New Year's resolution to reach out to as many customers as I can from the past year, just to see how make sure you're still enjoying your products, make sure they're holding up well. So how's it going with your Pampered Chef items? If I'm right on my laptop and I've got their order right there, I might ask them about something in particular. So how's that rock crock? Are you loving that garlic press? Okay, so this is a true customer care call. I'm not calling and saying, oh, I want a booking from this. I am calling to make sure they got their product, make sure they're holding up well. Have a little conversation. If they find there's some products they're not using, I might offer to send a recipe that goes along with that product. After we chit chat for a minute, I might say to them something like, so while I have you on the phone, would you be interested in hearing a little bit about what Pampered Chef is offering for specials right now? Sometimes they say, I don't have the time, but I'd love for you to email them to me. Okay, fantastic. And I'll email it to them. But I often will do this for the entire month of January. To me, it's just a really easy way to reach out to everybody and anybody for the past year. And I am always shocked at how many people will say, wow, thank you so much for reaching out. Even if they don't want or need anything right now, they're usually pretty impressed. And it is amazing what I bump into. If you make enough of these calls, most people are like, yep, love my products. Yeah, Mom. And no, I'm not really interested in any Pampered Chef right now, but thank you so much for calling. But some of the other people like, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe this. I was talking to my mother yesterday, and she's like, oh my gosh, I need to get one of those pictures that you have, and da-da-da-da-da. Or, oh my goodness, my friends at work were just asking me, when are you having the next Pampered Chef party? So it is amazing what I just happened to stumble in on when we just make these calls. Okay, so I'm now going to, how do I do an unshare? I don't know. There we go. Ta-da. Okay, so questions, comments, because I know some of you were like, oh, I was just asking you about this the other day. Anybody got a specific situation? You're just not really sure what to do next?
I have a host that I was supposed to do a party with last January. Mm-hmm. And when we were getting ready to reset New Year's weekend, his pipes in his house burst, and it took him almost a year to get the kitchen. And I contacted him again a couple of weeks ago before the holidays. And I said, January, you really wanted to do the double rewards. And he said, I'll shoot you a couple of dates. He hasn't, and I've reached out to him a couple of times. How do you continue reaching? Do you just continue reaching out?
If he said he was interested and he was going to shoot you a couple of dates, I would, and I probably wouldn't wait weeks in between. Especially now, if he wants to get it in for January, it's a good time to just, buckle that date down. One thing I will do, similar to, I forget who said it earlier, about an incentive. So if I reach out to someone and I really want them to respond, I might say something like, I know you were interested in having a party in January. I don't want you to miss out on the double free. And hey, I'm headed to the post office on Friday. So if you save a trip to the post office and schedule your party before then, I will throw in a blah, blah, blah for free in your post packet. So here are the dates I've got available. So I'll give them something that within 24 to 48 hours if they get back to me. So now I can make one trip to the post office to get all those packets out, even if I'm not going to, even if, you know, I'm not getting a whole bunch out, I will say to them, yeah, I'm going to the post office on Friday if you save me an extra trip. Yeah, give them some reason to move it up on their list of priorities.
Okay.
Michelle, did you have your hand
Well,
up?
I was just going to say that, you know, that you offered a great idea for people when you're going back a year, but what about for brand new consultants who want to do, they can't do out of the box calls because people haven't gotten anything in the box. Do you have any suggestions for brand new consultants who haven't had someone say, yeah, call me back, or they might have said, call me back, you know, for
Do you mean like brand new as in just signed in December or
yeah,
something like that?
People who don't have a past host history or past customer history.
Then I would definitely take a listen to the Strong Start call that I posted yesterday in OWL. It is a very easy, step-by-step, very manageable way and to reach out. So yeah, if you haven't taken a listen, so you listen to it. What did you said it was helpful?
I use Snippet a lot, and I pretty much snipped pretty much every of your ones of your slides, so I can have a little booklet. So when I'm looking for specific reach out or something of the wording that being French, I tend to leave too long of a message, which I need to correct this year. So I was trying to print yours so that I can have them like that. So.
And by the way, if anytime you listen to something I've done, I usually do a PowerPoint with words typed up right in there. If you want the PowerPoint itself, email me. I'll send it right to you. You can.
Okay, I'd like the one from tonight if you don't mind. I'll send you an email.
Yes,
though.
email me so I don't forget. Yeah.
Yep. I'm a visual person. Sorry.
Me too. That's why I actually type up the words into the PowerPoint because. And I know I'm taking screenshots of things I like so that I can go back and read them out loud a few times. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the Strong Start call, it's not just for brand new consultants. It's anybody who, if now you want to sort of relaunch a strong way, it's good for anybody. Yes, Colleen.
I just have a comment if I can, if everybody, if that's good. So we were talking about reaching out to people. I actually have someone, believe it or not, from Concord Market Days. Was it? Yeah, it was Concord Market Days back in May. And I talked to her this week because I called her and she's, oh, yeah, yep, want to do it? I said, okay, can I call you back? So I've called her now 3 times, and each time she says, yeah, I keep talking to my kids. Yeah, call me back. I said, okay, can I call you here? So I called her again after the holidays, and twice. You think you're bothering people? She goes, you are so good to follow up. And one time I forgot. So it was like a month had passed and I was going back and I was like, oh, and I'm thinking to myself, she had no idea that I didn't call her when I told her the time frame. She was like, you are so good to I really appreciate you keeping in touch with me. And I was like, okay, I'll call you next month. So for what it's worth, you're not their priority.
It's true. We have to just embrace the fact, for most people, we're their fun in life. Having a party is the fun thing, and fun is not the top of their priority list. And I love that you said you might have missed the time that you had said you'd reach out, but if they didn't write it down, they don't remember. And I am always shocked because I've got the little good angel, bad angel on my shoulders. One's like, you're bugging them. And the other one's like, no, you're not. They probably had a tea bag in their teacup for 3 days. I got them all distracted, So, but most of the time when I finally reach out or connect, way more often than not, it's, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I've been meaning to get in touch with you, or thank you so much. You are so good to keep on top of things. And I'm like,
I'm not on top of anything, but okay.
Can I just give you another take on this kind of thing?
Sure.
When I was brand new, one of the ways that I got the word out about my business was having yard sales. My husband was happy because we got rid of crap in the basement, and I was happy because I put up a Pampered Chef table with brochures and door prize slips and had people fill them out. I had one woman come and fill out a door prize slip, and I talked to her, and she said, yes, can you call me in 2 weeks? You know, I'm on my way to California, don't know what my schedule's like when I get back, so can you call me in 2 weeks? Something happened. I think I had a death in the family during that time frame, and I wasn't calling anybody. When I recovered enough to start, getting back to my business, I called her and I said, I'm so sorry, we had a death in the family. I know you wanted me to call you weeks ago, so I apologize. She goes, oh, I'm really sorry too, she said, because I didn't hear from you. I didn't think you were interested, and I booked a party with somebody else.
Oh.
Okay, but this is what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
She was waiting to hear from me, and she didn't. So she booked a party with someone else. I completely understood, and she completely understood why I couldn't call her.
Mm-hmm.
But see, so there's the other end of that spectrum, that they are waiting for you to call.
Yeah.
I had a surprise order come in last week. It was a $109 order, and I didn't recognize the name. So I tried following up, and when I saw the order itself and I went online, the email was from one of my hosts when I very first started, but the order was for somebody else, but she was using her email. So I reached out to her and said, can you tell Amy thank you for her order, because all the contact information is through you. Please thank her for the order that she just placed on my website. And by the way, would you be interested in finding out about January because of the double host, because she was like a $1,300 party for me the first 2 months I was in the business. So hopefully I'll hear back, but it was a surprise, and I use it as a reach out.
Yeah. Yeah, and when I'm following up with anybody, my expectation is I'm going to have to reach out 4 to 5 times. That's just, if I get them sooner, I'm like, oh, bonus. But in my mind, it's going to be 4 to 5 times.
All right, then I'm gonna put 5, and I'll check them off as I make the calls. That way, it's gonna make me go for the 5.
Yeah, and like I said, by the 5th call, give them permission to say, I'm all set. Hey, if you don't want me to reach back out, that's fine. Just let me know. I'll take you off my callback list. Otherwise, I know how busy, life gets. I'll just keep reaching out till we connect. And it's amazing. Then they don't even respond then to say, stop reaching out, So, okay, any other questions? Anybody else got a specific scenario? Yes, Lindsay.
For the cold leads, so I have a bunch of leads from fairs where they didn't necessarily say they were interested definitely. Do you still follow up with them 4 or 5 times?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the ones who were maybe for a show. So if they, I use the 1 through 10. So if they circled ones, I'm probably not following up with them. But if they had expressed a possibility, they put maybe for a party, and I reached out 3 or 4 or 5 times right after the fair, and then nothing panned out, and I got other leads and my calendar was full. Then I might reach out to say, hey, I know we met at the Hopkinton Fair. You were thinking you might want to have a party in the fall, but the timing never worked out. Well, oh my goodness, I was just reaching back out. You are not going to believe what Pampered Chef is offering right now. So yeah, I would absolutely reach back out. Again, for that kind of scenario, that's when I might do the text and tell them about this, and call them and tell where I pick the one place to put the information and the other 2 to 3 ways to point to that. So that's probably what I would do with them.
Okay.
And that happens a lot of times, that people that you meet from a fair, they book months and months later.
Yeah, thank you, ladies, so much for this. I can think of a few people that I've followed up with once maybe, and I didn't hear anything, and I thought, okay, I guess they're not interested, and started to move on. So I think I'm going to spend some time going back.
Lindsay, are you the type of person that when you probably make the next dentist appointment before you leave the dentist's office that day, right?
But
Same here.
if I don't make it that day, it just doesn't happen. It doesn't matter how many times they call me.
But for people who are super organized, I call super organized, those people who say when get their hair cut, they're making their next hair appointment. I'm like, I don't know, it depends on the humidity. I might get another week and a half. I can't make an appointment right now. Decide what my calendar at home. I don't even have it with me. So yeah, just know that we're following up with a range of people, and just think of me when you're reaching out, and just know that there's a lot of people like me, and calling them once, you had better call them more. They can end up having great parties. So good. Go ahead, Sue. What were you
I have a quick question in reference to, if you're trying to, you said we share the recipes with people who bought before, or you're trying to do some more of the sharing of that on all the recipes that we have on Pampered Chef, they're available for us to just put them in the message and stuff like that, and share them with no. Do you guys do any of the recipes you find on Pinterest? Do you do any sharing of those as well?
I'm never on Pinterest, but you could.
I haven't, Sue. I always take the link. I link them if it's an email or a Facebook message, I link them to my website. I go on to my personal website, get the recipe, and then I copy that whole link.
Right.
Send it to them, because usually if I'm doing that, it's because they're using a product.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a service to go along with, like a great example is like the whipped cream maker, like whatever the different flavors, sending them that link. But I do share Pinterest and Tasty and all the 8,000 other recipes I see. I do those in my VIP group. If I think they can use Pampered Chef products, or even if they can't, and I just think it's a good looking recipe, or I'll say, hey, this would work really well on stoneware. I'll post those in my VIP group. But if I'm sharing with customers, I always use my website and the recipes.
Okay, so use the website for customers, but if you're just trying to pique some interest,
just get some traffic.
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether we had the rights if we're using somebody else's recipe and sharing it, or because of
what I've also done is on some of the other virtual party groups and other cooking ones, they have booklets already made up to go with a specific product. I share those a lot. So like my 2-month one, quite often my 2-week, but also my 2-month I'll ask them if there's any recipes that they want to go with, and I'll have their order right in front of me when I'm emailing. So I know exactly what they ordered. I said, do you want anything like for instance, this week was the donut pan, and they did want something, and I have one that's like a 6 or 8 page booklet that I emailed them afterwards. And on the bottom, I always put in the footer my information and contact stuff. So they'll be looking at their recipes, and if they have any questions about products, oh yeah, I've got that Pampered Chef contact, so I've got that going too.
Okay, so everybody is sharing more than just the ones from Pampered Chef. If you're finding some good ones, you're sharing those as well.
Well, most of these come from Pampered Chef, but a lot of other consultants have added in a recipe or two of their own.
Hey Sherry, can you share the donut pan booklet?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Can you post it in?
I'll put it right in. Yeah, I can put it right into the files.
Thank you.
Yep.
The other thing that's good to do if you're doing those New Year's resolution calls, or if you're following up with someone and they say not now, and you say, is there a better time you'd like me to reach out? You're like, I don't know. You ask, are you part of my VIP group on Facebook? Oh, I'd love to add you. That way you'll see the specials every month, and when something catches your eye, you can just comment or message me. Okay, so put that on the list of things, because a lot of times they'll say, oh yeah, add me to that. Okay. Just make it a habit, guys, because that's the biggest thing. If you make outreach a habit, you won't be thinking, oh, I've called these 5 people, I hope they call me back. You're just making it a habit, and over time, you'll just realize there's only so many people that call you back at a certain time. It becomes easier to do, like exercise. When you do it regularly, it becomes easier, so I hear. Yeah. Make it a habit, and then all of a sudden, when you've been doing it a while, all of a sudden, all these little seeds that you've been planting, all of a sudden, one's growing over here, one's growing over there. So that's the real key. Keep doing it.
Karen, what's your email address?
My email address, kbchef@comcast.net.
Thank you.
Okay, and Michelle, we can definitely stop the recording. But I'll stay on another minute or two if anybody has questions about